What's going on, guys? It is Nappa back again. Today I'm going to be flying the Alias again. I know I did a few first-person flying episodes. There's going to be more of those coming up. Also, another video I'm actually going to do and probably record shortly after flying is I actually want to make a video highlighting some of the problems that the Alias has to help you guys make a more informed purchase if you're planning on buying one of these. Because as some of you may know, the price actually just dropped on the Alias. It's down to like 90 bucks or 100 bucks or somewhere around there, but the price dropped. And so, I'm not going to be bashing the quad in that video. I actually really enjoy this quad, but I'm just going to be highlighting some of the things that are wrong with it so you guys know what's going on when you buy it. Anyways, let's go ahead and plug this in and do some flying now. What I'm going to be doing is, I saw on a video somewhere, I don't remember the guy, I don't remember the guy's channel. I know he's a really nice guy. I commented actually on one of his videos. He replied. I think I commented on a couple of his videos, and he replied. He was a pretty cool dude, and he pretty much knew what he was talking about. He was a pretty good pilot, and he said that if you consider yourself a good pilot, fly around like you normally would without doing tricks or anything. Fly around like you normally would, but in expert mode with no gyro. So that you got to make the corrections that you're used to it making for you. Now, I use expert mode when I'm doing tricks, when I'm doing stunts, or if I'm just kind of flying not super hard. And what he means by, like, flying normally is, like, you know how you'd make funnels and bank turns and stuff with the gyroactive? He says to try to do all that stuff in expert mode if you consider yourself a good pilot. And I do. I consider myself a pretty decent pilot. I've been into the hobby, into flying since about May of this year. I've been racing RC cars since I was 4.5. I started a long time ago. And so basically been on RC cars my whole life and just recently got into the flying hobby, but I consider myself pretty decent at it at least. I'm getting good with the 3D stuff with the Leap 450 and all the, FPV and all that. So we're just going to see if I can do, bank turns, some basic maneuvers in 3D mode. We're going to take off in standard mode though because I had to repair a motor by soldering the wire together. And I'm not sure how wobbly that's going to make it. If the motor's getting less power, more power, could just make it unstable. So we're going to take off in standard mode, and then we're going to switch to expert pretty much immediately. See, we got a little bit of wobble going on, not a whole lot. Trim may need a few clicks, but okay, we're in expert now. I'm going to try some bank turns. It's not hard. It's not that bad. I did a few bank turns right there, as you saw. Let's try to go around this tree. I'm going to bring it over here. Let's try going around this tree. Bank turn around it. There we go. That was pretty good. Yeah, expert mode actually for just flying around normal. It's not that bad. Expert mode with it facing me is something I'm not quite used to because I don't really fly with it facing me in expert mode. Usually, when I'm flying expert mode, I'm doing this, I'm doing tricks. I'm not usually just flying around like I normally would in expert mode. And that guy made a good point in his video. If you think you're a good pilot, trying to fly normally in expert mode, it humbles you. It humbles you. It really does, because, I can do bank turns with it facing away from me in expert, I've come to find. But actually, like right there, that's not much of an issue. I can do that. But actually, with it facing me is definitely humbling. It's difficult to do. Kind of got it there. I think the reason I'm doing so, at least mildly decent right now in expert mode, is, right when I say that, I have to bail. The reason I was doing mildly decent, we're going to go back into expert mode now, is because I do have so much flight time under my belt that it's just kind of more remembering to make the corrections by myself, rather than, the difficulty actually performing them. It's remembering to do it, because I'm not used to that. I had to throw a flip in there somewhere. It's how I fly. It's usually what I'm doing in expert mode. Definitely need a new set of motors for my quad. I can tell the power is definitely not there. And as I'm going to say, one of the things I'm going to mention in that video that's coming up is that this thing does. It eats motors for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, dude. I'm getting better. That was actually facing me for a long time. Oh! As I say, I'm getting better. That's the karma coming at me, but I actually hit that branch up there, and I almost saved it, and I think if I punched the throttle, I could have, but it's never really a good idea to punch the throttle while you're crashing. It's better just to let it land and survey the damage after that. Hopefully no wires are screwed up or anything. Go ahead and grab that. That was definitely, I'm gonna face this way because it looks like my cord came out there. I want to try to go around those trees again, but from over here. Actually, hitting that tree had nothing to do with being an expert, it was just me being a moron. Alright, we're still an expert. Let's try to go around. No, maybe not that tree, because there's not much room. Let's go around this one. We're going to bring it back over here. I'm just getting used to doing these bank turns and stuff in expert mode. And I crashed again. Yeah, it's definitely something to get used to, man. It's definitely something to get used to. It's not something I do all the time. This is flying, like I normally would with bank turns and with it facing me and everything, but with the gyro deactivated. It's definitely humbling, and battery's not quite dead yet. We're gonna fly a little longer here. Taking off in expert mode again, I believe. See, I can do the bank turns and everything. That's not a problem. But when it starts facing me in expert, man, that's something. Whereas, and I'll switch to easy mode, fast mode. And, I'll show you guys, I have no problem with it actually facing me when it's doing the corrections itself. It's just something I really got to get used to. And I'm going to practice flying constantly in expert. Because I think, as you guys can see, I have no problem with it facing me when it's activated. We're going to deactivate the gyro. But, yeah, it's definitely something I got to get used to. I'm going to start practicing it. That's kind of cool right there. I'm going to start practicing it and see how good at that I can get. Maybe with it hovering. But yeah, you know what, let's try that. Let me bring it in. I'm going to put it in fast mode just to bring it over here. I'm going to try to hover with it facing me in expert mode. That's what I did to try to learn to, with the gyro active and expert mode. Nah, that's hard. The guy was right. It is something. But let's go back to expert mode. Hopefully this shows up pretty well. I know my Alias is blue and white, with a blue and white sky. And the Alias is not the largest quadcopter in the world. Alright, it's facing me right now, and we're all good. Bank turn away. Getting a little bit low. There, I'm trying not to punch the throttle too much, because I know that my motors kind of aren't that great. And they're on their last legs. Especially the one that I had to solder back together. Alright, so it's facing me in expert mode, no problem. Bank turn away. I'm getting better. Be funny if I crashed again the second I said that. I'm getting more used to it. I'm definitely getting more used to it. Let's do a axis flip. Axis flip. Whoa. Motors really are on their last legs. Looks like our battery's down. We'll do a front flip and bring it down. Switch it to fast mode to bring it to me. Whoa, alright. You can tell that my gyro just isn't all there, and it's because of the motors being on their last legs. Okay guys, so that was flying the Alias, pretty much all in expert mode. Like the guy said, to try to challenge yourself to do. And I tell you what, he was right, man. It's hard to do. Actually, I got more used to it towards the end of the video. But I want to encourage all of you guys to try and do that. Try and fly around like you normally would, making bank turns, doing funnels, back and forth, or to and from. But, in expert mode. Because a lot of you guys are like I am. You only use expert mode for when you're doing tricks, or if you're flying easy, not really doing bank turns, not really doing all that stuff. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Comment, like, and subscribe.